All right. So, last night's NBA games, huh? Wow. We had some real nail biters. Some statement wins.
Yeah.
And if you really want to get what went down, I mean, beyond just looking at the scores, you're in the right place.
Yeah.
We've got 4 key matchups we're going to kind of dissect today.
Okay.
Golden State versus Utah, Portland versus Milwaukee,
Right.
Houston versus Atlanta,
Mm-hmm.
and of course,
The big one.
the big one, Philadelphia taking on the Lakers.
Yeah, I think what was so fascinating about these games is, it wasn't just about like individual performances. We saw like glimpses of potential playoff previews.
Oh, yeah.
Teams kind of figuring out their identity and some surprising underdogs exceeding expectations.
I love that. So it's like each of these games is like this mini drama unfolding with its own set of stakes. Let's start with Golden State facing off against Utah. The Warriors, they always bring that championship energy.
Right. Absolutely.
So the Jazz were in for a battle.
Yeah, and I think this matchup really felt like a chess match, especially with Steph Curry on the court.
Oh, of course.
He had 32 points, but it's not even just about the scoring with him, right?
Yeah.
We saw like a masterclass in how Curry like manipulates defenses.
Yeah.
There was one play in the third quarter, I don't know if you saw this, where he drew 3 defenders to him on the perimeter and then just whipped this like no-look pass to Draymond Green cutting to the basket for an easy layup.
Oh, yeah.
And it's like that's what makes him so dangerous, right? He's not just scoring, he's creating opportunities for everybody.
So it's not just about his individual brilliance, it's how he elevates the entire team.
Exactly.
And speaking of stepping up, Jordan Poole had another strong showing off the bench, right?
Absolutely. Poole seems to be finding his rhythm, hitting those clutch 3-pointers, driving to the basket with confidence, ended the night with 20 points.
Yeah.
And you can just see his growth, like, from game to game.
Yeah.
He could be a real X factor for the Warriors as the season progresses.
Totally. Now, what about Utah? Donovan Mitchell always brings the heat,
He does.
Was he able to keep pace with Curry?
Mitchell put up a good fight.
Okay.
Finished with 24 points, but you could see that the Warriors' defensive strategy was really to kind of limit his impact.
Yeah.
They forced him into tough shots, made him work for every basket.
Right.
And in the end, Golden State's like teamwork and their defensive cohesion it proved too much for Utah to overcome. They really demonstrated why they're considered contenders.
Teamwork makes the dream work.
There you go.
I love it. Okay, next up we have Damian Lillard.
Oh, yeah.
And the Portland Trail Blazers taking on Giannis and the Milwaukee Bucks.
Right.
Two totally different styles of play, clashing head on. This one had me on the edge of my seat.
Yeah. Lillard was just like the definition of fear factor in this game.
Oh.
He dropped 35 points. And you could feel the Bucks defense like scrambling every time he touched the ball.
Oh, yeah.
They were like constantly trying to double team him, but he's so quick.
Right.
He's so elusive that he found ways to either get his shot off or find like an open teammate.
Yeah, it's like he's playing chess while everyone else is playing checkers.
Totally.
And wasn't Nurkic a beast in the paint against Giannis? I did not see that coming.
Nurkic absolutely dominated the paint. 22 points, 11 rebounds.
Wow.
Giannis, who typically controls the inside game, had a tough time getting anything going.
Yeah.
Nurkic's physicality, his positioning, his ability to anticipate Giannis's moves really like neutralized the Greek Freak's usual dominance.
Right.
It was a reminder that even the best players can be shut down when you have a game plan and you execute it well.
That's a valuable lesson for anyone on or off the court.
Absolutely.
So is Portland a dark horse contender after this win? I mean, they took it to the Bucks pretty convincingly.
They're definitely a team to watch.
Okay.
This win was a statement. Lillard and CJ McCollum are one of the most dynamic backcourts in the league.
Oh, for sure.
And Nurkic's performance last night shows that he can go toe-to-toe with, like, the best big men in the game.
Yeah.
And, if they can maintain this level of play,
right,
they could be a real threat in the West.
Okay. Let's shift gears now to a game that came down to the wire. Houston taking on Atlanta.
Mm-hmm.
What was the key to the Rockets pulling out this win?
I think this game was like a masterclass in resilience.
Okay.
The Hawks were up by 8 points going into the fourth quarter, and it looked like they might run away with it.
Right.
But Houston, they wouldn't give up. They kept chipping away at the lead, playing tough defense, hitting clutch shots when it mattered most.
It sounds like John Wall's veteran leadership really made a difference in those crucial final minutes.
Absolutely. Wall didn't have his best scoring night, but his experience and composure were invaluable down the stretch. He orchestrated the offense, made smart decisions, hit some big free throws to seal the deal.
Right.
And you can't forget about Christian Wood, who was a force in the paint with 24 points, 12 rebounds. He was a constant threat inside, drawing double teams, creating opportunities for his teammates.
So it was a total team effort that propelled Houston to victory.
Yeah.
They really embodied that never give up spirit.
For sure.
Now, let's talk about the main event. Philadelphia versus the Lakers. Two powerhouses.
Yeah.
Two superstars.
The big one.
This one had all the makings of an instant classic.
It was a clash of titans, for sure.
Yeah.
But what impressed me the most was that Philadelphia came in with a clear game plan, and they executed it flawlessly.
Oh, okay.
They knew the Lakers would try to funnel everything through LeBron and Davis.
Of course.
So they focused on shutting down the paint, forcing them into tough shots, making them work for every possession.
Embiid versus LeBron.
Oh, man.
That's a matchup for the ages.
Yeah.
Talk about a battle in the paint.
Embiid was simply unstoppable.
Oh, wow.
He finished with 35 points, 10 rebounds, and he did it with a combination of power, finesse, and incredible footwork. He was hitting fadeaways, hook shots, even stepping out and hitting mid-range jumpers. The Lakers had no answer for him.
Sounds like he was putting on a clinic.
He was.
And how did Simmons factor into Philly's success?
Simmons was like the facilitator, right? He was finding Embiid in the post, pushing the pace in transition.
Right.
Creating chaos on defense with his length and athleticism. The chemistry between those two was electric, and it was clear that the Lakers were struggling to keep up with their pace and intensity.
So it wasn't just about individual brilliance. It was about the Sixers playing like a cohesive unit.
Exactly.
What about the Lakers, though? I mean, LeBron and Davis, they're two of the best players in the league. How did they get outplayed so convincingly?
Well, while LeBron had 25 points and Davis added 18, they couldn't get into a rhythm. Philadelphia's defense forced them into taking tough, contested shots.
Right.
And the Lakers just seemed to lack that spark, that sense of urgency that we've seen from them in the past.
Yeah.
There were a lot of turnovers, missed opportunities. You could sense the frustration building.
So even with superstar talent, sometimes team chemistry and a solid game plan can be the deciding factors. It really is a team sport.
Precisely. And that's what makes this league so captivating.
Right.
It's not always about who has the best players, but who can execute their strategy most effectively and adapt to the challenges that arise throughout the game.
All right, that wraps up our first look at last night's incredible NBA action. But we're just getting started. Stay tuned, because in part 2, we're going even deeper. We'll analyze those key moments that shifted the momentum, highlight some unsung heroes, and discuss what these games tell us about the bigger picture of the NBA season. Don't go anywhere.
Can't wait.
Welcome back. I mean, we just dove into some major NBA matchups, and I'm still buzzing from all the action. But like you mentioned earlier, it's not always just about the superstars.
Right.
Sometimes those under the radar players really make the difference.
Absolutely. And one player who immediately comes to mind is Kevon Looney for the Warriors.
Oh, interesting.
His stat line may not jump out at you, 8 points, 10 rebounds,
Right.
but his impact goes way beyond the numbers. He was like a monster on the offensive glass, creating second chance opportunities for Golden State, and his defense on Rudy Gobert was crucial in limiting Utah's scoring.
Wow.
Looney's the kind of player that every championship team needs, right? The glue guy who does all the dirty work, doesn't seek the spotlight.
Yeah, he's like the engine that keeps the Warriors running smoothly.
Totally.
Now, I want to rewind and talk about some of those wow moments, that had us jumping out of our seats. For me, it was Damian Lillard against Milwaukee. That step back three-pointer over Drew Holiday in the fourth quarter.
Oh, yeah.
Ice in his veins.
Yeah, Lillard's ability to just control the pace of the game is what's so impressive. He's like a conductor leading an orchestra.
I love that analogy.
He can slow things down with his methodical dribbling,
Right.
then suddenly explode to the basket or pull up for a deep three.
Right.
He keeps the defense guessing, and that's what makes him so difficult to guard.
Totally.
And you're right, that step back three over Holiday, that was a dagger.
Yeah. Speaking of veteran leadership, John Wall may not be putting up the same numbers as he used to,
Right.
but his impact on the Rockets is undeniable.
Mm.
I mean, it felt like he willed them to victory against Atlanta.
Yeah, Wall's leadership is like so subtle yet impactful. He's constantly communicating with his teammates, directing traffic on both ends of the court, you know.
Right.
You can see like the young guys on Houston like feeding off his energy and experience.
Yeah.
It's almost like having another coach on the floor. And in those clutch moments down the stretch, you know, his decision making and ability to hit big shots were crucial.
You know, I thought the Lakers would put up more of a fight against Philadelphia. I was surprised by how, like, out of sync they seemed.
It's interesting, isn't it? You have LeBron James and Anthony Davis, two of the most dominant players in the league.
Yeah.
But the Sixers just completely shut them down.
Right.
And what was so fascinating was, like, Philadelphia's defensive strategy.
Okay.
They didn't fall for the LeBron trap.
Yeah.
You know, they knew he'd try to create for himself and others.
Right.
So they clogged the paint, forced him into taking contested jumpers, and really limited his passing lanes.
So it was a combination of Philadelphia's defensive brilliance and the Lakers seeming a bit off their game. Even in a loss, though, I mean, LeBron's all-around talent is always on display. I mean, he impacts the game in so many ways.
Oh, for sure. LeBron had 8 assists last night, and his court vision is simply remarkable.
Oh,
he
wow.
can thread the needle with passes that most players wouldn't even attempt.
Right.
But as we saw last night, even LeBron can be contained
Right.
when a team executes a well-designed defensive game plan.
Okay. Let's talk about some players who might not have made the headlines,
Right.
but definitely played like key roles in their team's success.
Right.
Any unsung heroes that stood out to you?
For me, it was Andrew Wiggins for the Warriors.
Oh, okay.
He's often overshadowed by Curry and Green.
Right.
But last night, he was a rock. He was hitting his shots, playing lockdown defense on Donovan Mitchell,
Yeah.
making those hustle plays that don't always show up in the box score.
Yeah.
He finished with 18 points, 6 rebounds, 2 steals, and his contributions were crucial in Golden State's win.
He's really evolved his game from just being a high flyer to a more complete player.
Exactly. And on the Atlanta side, I thought DeAndre Hunter showed flashes of brilliance.
Oh, interesting.
You know, he had the tough assignment of guarding James Harden. And while Harden still got his points, Hunter made him work for every basket. Hunter also chipped in 14 points and played with a lot of energy and hustle.
Yeah.
He's a young player with a ton of potential.
It's those under the radar performances that can really like swing the momentum of a game.
For sure.
And now I want to go back to something you mentioned earlier.
Yeah.
These games being like a preview of potential playoff matchups.
Right.
Which potential series has you most excited?
Oh, if I had to pick one, I'd say like a Golden State-Utah series would be an absolute thriller.
Oh man.
Both teams play at a fast pace.
Yeah.
They have incredible shooters, and they're both hungry for a championship. I mean, imagine Curry and Mitchell going head-to-head in a 7-game series.
No, I could already picture the highlights. Those two trading three-pointers.
Yeah.
Making those impossible shots.
And don't forget about the battle in the paint between Rudy Gobert and Draymond Green.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, that would be a clash of styles.
Totally.
A battle of wills.
Oh, I'm getting chills just thinking about it.
It would be fun.
What about in the East? Any potential matchups that have you, like, intrigued?
You know, a Sixers-Lakers finals rematch would be epic. I mean, Philadelphia is looking like a legitimate contender this year. They are, and they clearly have the Lakers number.
Right.
But you know LeBron is never going to back down from a challenge.
No, I don't think anyone would count the Lakers out,
Right.
especially with LeBron leading the charge.
Of course.
But the Sixers, I don't know, they have a different swagger this year. A confidence that they can beat anyone.
Yeah, it would be a clash of styles, a battle between like experience and youthful energy.
Yeah.
And it would be a chance for the Sixers to like really prove that they're the real deal.
Right.
That they can stand toe to toe with like the best team in the league.
This is what makes the NBA so captivating.
Huh.
These rivalries, these storylines, the drama unfolding every night.
Absolutely.
And we're just getting started.
We're in for like one wild ride as the season progresses.
Oh, yeah.
So buckle up and enjoy the show.
Welcome back to the final part of our NBA deep dive. We've dissected the big games, the standout players, the storylines. that have everyone talking. Now it's your turn to weigh in. What surprised you the most from last night's action? Was there a team that really impressed you, or maybe one that left you kind of scratching your head?
Well, I think what's so fascinating is that, we saw both like expected outcomes and some real upsets. Like the Warriors win
Right.
wasn't a shock, but the way they dominated certain stretches, that was a statement.
Yeah, they look incredibly focused.
They do.
And I think a lot of people, expected the Lakers to put up more of a fight against Philly. It makes you wonder, I mean, are we underestimating the Sixers this year? They certainly look like they're on a mission.
Yeah, and this raises a really important question: is Philadelphia a true championship contender?
Yeah.
They have the talent, the coaching, and they're playing with a fire we haven't seen in years.
Right.
But the real test is consistency, right?
Totally.
Can they maintain this intensity over an 82-game season and into the playoffs?
Right.
That's what we'll be watching closely.
It's a long road to the championship.
For sure.
And anything can happen.
Absolutely.
So before we wrap up, I want to hear your predictions for the rest of the season. Which teams are you like keeping your eye on? Any bold predictions you want to throw out there?
I've got my eye on Portland.
Oh, interesting.
I think they have this like really potent combination of scoring and defense.
Right.
And they seem to be clicking on all cylinders.
Yep.
So don't be surprised if they make a deep playoff run.
Right.
I think they have the potential to be a real dark horse.
Yeah, I'm with you on that one. Damian Lillard in the playoffs.
Right.
I mean, come on, he is a force to be reckoned with.
He is.
And of course, we can't forget about the Warriors. I mean, they're still the team to beat, and with Steph Curry leading the charge, I mean, they're always a threat.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
And I think we're going to see like some young players continue to emerge as the season progresses.
Oh yeah, for sure.
Like Jordan Poole's a name to remember for the Warriors.
Right.
He's showing a lot of confidence and could be like a key piece for them.
Absolutely.
And Christian Wood for Houston.
So yeah.
I mean, he's developing into like a dominant force in the paint.
Yeah.
And we can't forget DeAndre Hunter in Atlanta.
He was great last night.
Tenacious defender.
Yes.
Showing signs of becoming a complete player.
It's an exciting time to be an NBA fan.
Huh.
So much talent, so much passion, and so many unpredictable storylines unfolding every night. I feel like, our deep dive has given us like a whole new level of understanding of the game.
Yeah, and if we connect this back to like the bigger picture, right?
Yeah.
We've seen how like individual brilliance, team chemistry,
Yeah.
and a bit of luck
Right.
can all factor into the outcome of the game. And this is just the beginning, right?
Right.
The NBA season is marathon.
Yeah.
There will be plenty of twists and turns along the way.
That's right. Well, we'll be back with more deep dives throughout the season, breaking down the most compelling matchups, exploring the stories behind the scores. Make sure to catch those highlights, follow your favorite teams, and keep that passion for the game alive. We'll see you next time for another exciting journey into the world of basketball.